Well, hello folks, how you doing? It's David Connolly here, the web developer extraordinaire, welcoming you to this little live stream, sort of an impromptu one. And originally I was going to have a poll. I mean, I do welcome feedback, but since writing the title, I've come up with an idea, which is I'm probably going to just build the thing live. So, what's the thing and what am I doing here? Well, I'm just not fixing this pocket watch. The battery's gone. It's just a little quartz one. And I bought this crystal remover. And I'm going to see if I can. Well, it didn't take long for that to fall apart. Hold on. All right, I'm just trying to. Here we go. Yeah, so I'm going to see if I can sort out my little pocket watch here. Um, Anyway, let me tell you about the feature that I had in mind, and this is not going to fit. Ah, downer. Anyway, I had an idea for a feature for Trongate that I thought would be useful, and I figured that perhaps I could tell you about this. I can't believe this doesn't fit. How can that be? What a rubbish thing. Alright, so much for that. I'll try a different strategy. Alright. So where else do you get to see somebody talking about web development and faffing about with watches? Give me just a little second, won't you? So if I go in, I'm pretty sure that I have to go in the front way. So give me a wee minute. Okay, so one of the things, I'll try this. One of the things that I'm always doing in web development, and I know some of you are, is figuring out what's coming in, what inbound requests there are, you know? I do it all the time. And of course, we especially do these things. Hold on a second. We especially do these types of things if we are maybe having a bug on a website, or heaven forbid, if our site is under attack or something like that. This is just a little tool here. I'm going to try this technique. So I don't know if it'll work. It might break actually, but the idea is that you go like this, and then I really hope I don't break it. If I do, then that's the way it goes. Anyway, I'm always building these little apps that record inbound requests, you know? Recording the request type, obviously the URL, the payload, all of that type of stuff, you know? And over and over and over, I keep on building this type of stuff. And then I had this thought, wouldn't it be great if that was just something that came with the framework? And I did a little check on, I believe it was Grok. And apparently, none of the other leading frameworks have this. Okay, so here's what we're doing here. Yeah, apparently none of the other frameworks have this, which is a surprise, you know? And I figured, all right, well, maybe we can be the first. Right, I'm going to give this a go. You'll see either a look of disappointment or a declaration of victory. Actually, I Let's do it together. Is this gonna work? Is this gonna work? Okay, you're sitting on a can of Coke. Oh, don't look at me. Alright, you're sitting on this. You can see my incredibly unimpressive room here that I'm in. Alright, here we go. Right, is this gonna work? Place your bets. So, if we just chuck this in something like that, then no, it's not gonna go. Oh, it's not happening. Right. Let's try again. I'm going to do brute force. It's either coming out or something is breaking. It's as simple as that. I'll go to this side. Alright. No. No. It's not happening. Oh, gee. Well, I tried. Oh, how I tried. And guess what? It just came out. As soon as I lifted it up. Right, okay, we have a gig. Excellent. It did come out. Alright, so now I have to figure out how to get into the thing. I was rather hoping that that would just fall out, but it's not. How on earth do we get into this? I don't think the back comes off. That's all solid. It has to be. It has to be through the front. So maybe, do I really want to take the hands off? Just thinking here. Wait, hold on. Giving it a little tap and it's just not having it. How on earth do we get into this? Can anybody figure this out? I mean, even if the hands were off, would it really help? I don't know. Probably not. So, what we gonna do? Right, I'm going to remove the hands. Hold on. Alright, I'll give this 10 minutes of my time maximum and then I'll give up. Alright, let's see if we can get this. So, okay, excuse my messy room. Here we go. So, ha! Wristwatch revival, eat your heart out. Alright. I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I have no clue what I'm doing. But that's okay. If I'm gonna wreck the thing, then so be it. Alright, so that's a little dial guard thing there. The theory is that you don't damage the dial, you know, or scratch it or anything. And I got a couple of these little beauties. Okay. So if I go something. Oh, you miserable thing. Look at me, I'm messing it up already. Yeah. I think I'm doing more damage than good here. Hold on. Alright. Close enough. Now, there were 3 hands there. And of course, I can only see 2 on the table now. So something must have fallen on the floor. I told you I'd mess this up. Alright. Oh, gee. Alright, give me a second here. Okay, hang on a minute. Nah, this is not happening. This is absolutely not happening. I feel as if they've actually made it so that you can't even change the darn batteries, you know? Alright. Not to worry. Although the curiosity's killing me, how would you get this out? I don't think I can go in the back. Don't think I can. I mean, it's just a little cheap quartz thing. It's no big deal. Alright. Not to worry. Not to worry. What I'll do is just wrap this up and start talking about web development. Maybe I'll have a bit more luck with that. Alright. So as I was saying a minute ago, I'm always building these things for web apps that record inbound requests, and they're incredibly useful for development, debugging, and of course, responding to things like malicious attacks, and we've had a few, you know. So I kind of thought, wouldn't it be cool if we built something that you can just switch on or off? And if you switch it on, it will just record all of the inbound requests. It's as simple as that, you know. That was it. I'm just putting these wee hands away. I legitimately did lose one of them. Can I be bothered? And I'm not going to fumble about the floor. Anyway, so I kind of thought that would be a nice thing to build, you know. The challenge is that it puts everything through an if statement. And then the other question is, well, what exactly is it you're going to record? I mean, URL, request type, payload. What about things like IP address? Things like that. User agent. Eventually, it starts to become a little bit complicated, and I dare say a little bit controversial, you know? So I kind of thought, well, rather than waltzing into some kind of legal minefield with this type of stuff, what I'm going to do instead is just build a generic thing into the framework. I'll call it interceptors, I think. And the idea is you can use it or you can not use it. The choice is yours. And if you switch it on, then it's going to redirect requests to any endpoint of your choosing. Not redirect, it's going to run them through any controller and method of your choosing. That way, if we do that, it means that the developer is free to add whatever they want as far as these interceptors go. I was going to call them before hooks, but we've used that phrase somewhere else and it could all become a little bit complicated, you know. So we'll call them interceptors. And I think I'm just going to build the darn thing, you know. I've done some checks, and apparently you're talking about 1,000th of a second. That's how much it would slow the thing down. Anyway, we have a few friends passing by. Let's check you out. Let's check you out. Okay, so we've got Keith here. How you doing, Keith? He says, howdy, it's like having you in my office while I'm working. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, that's kind of how I like to think of it. Here comes not Mark Knopfler. Same for me. Cool. Well, you know the funny thing, I used to do these live coding ahoys up until really recently. Does it not screw off? Keith says. Thank you. I just noticed that. If it does, I may start crying like a baby. Nah, it doesn't. I actually believe that they have deliberately built it this way. I mean, the thing cost less than a fiver, you know? This is a little AliExpress special. So, now I'm out of luck. I'm out of luck. It's as cheap and cheerful as you get. Anyway, if anybody knows, let me know. The great Stefan is here in full formation. Ahoy to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just something on YouTube, and it's that web developer extraordinaire. Thank you, not Mark Knopfler. And Carl. Ahoy to you, Carl. Welcome, welcome. So, shall we just build the darn thing? Would that be cool? I'll build it, and I think you'll like it. I mean, the thing says vote now. I'm going to change the headline. All right. Call it live build, right? Okay. I'm building an endpoint watcher, blah, 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 blah. There we go. Hey, Trongate devs. And isn't that exactly what I would say? All of those Americanisms and everything. Okay, we're cool. So I've just updated the description. And now I'm going to do a little bit of work on Trongate 2. Would you like to check it out? All right. Here it comes. Here it comes. It's Trongate 2. Nobody's seen it yet, you know. So, big deal, right? But check it out. We have a code generator, and it's not even, well, this here, you'll see it opens the properties builder. This is not the desktop app. This is all web-based. Isn't that fantastic? So this is how Trongate V2 is going to go. Now, the idea that I had, and I never knew what to call it. I think I was going to go with, I asked some of the chatbots for ideas, you know. And here were some of the ideas that it gave us. Now, hold on a minute. Okay, so here were some of the ideas from the chatbots. Pre-controllers, preload controllers, gatekeepers. Gatekeepers are negative. Pre-controllers are confusing. Request interceptors is okay. Interceptors, now I like that, because that's what it's doing. It's intercepting, right? So I think I'm going to go with that, if that's okay. If there are any objections, do let me know. And the idea is, we've got these config files. So if I echo hi and do a little old die statement, head over to Trongate V2, you'll see that it says hi on the top left there. So what we're doing is we are defining interceptors, and I'll write it here. Interceptors, okay? And so what this one is doing, and you can have as many as you want, but this one is going to, it's going to invoke the hello method that exists within a test module. And of course, you can add as many of these things as you want. It's perfectly fine, you know. Okay, so let's see if we can do this. Now, the first thing I'll do is I'll go to this test module here, and I'll make a little thing up called hello, and I'm going to echo hello you from the test module, and I'll chuck in a die statement, right? So our goal is to, of course, this is optional, right? But our goal is to modify the internals of the framework so that it checks for the existence of this here. And if it finds this thing here, then we're going to invoke the thing. So let's see if we can do this, right? Now, the first thing I'll do, and this is slightly embarrassing, but suppose I have this code. Can you remind me how to check to see if the constant of interceptors exists, i.e. has been set? I just want to remind myself how to do this, you know. Okay. All right. So there it is. It's if is defined. So the question then is, where do we put this thing? Now, we've got a few possible options in the engine folder. A super quick reminder as to how this all works. The first file that gets loaded is called ignition.php. Here it is here. So it loads up custom routing. It loads up the config file, of course. These are all just config folders. So it loads up all of those. This here. So this makes it easier to load classes. Then what do we do? So we start sessions. We have a little function. We have another little function. We define app path, get segments. I don't really know what assumed URL is. Okay, we load up a bunch of helpers. Now, let me look here. We've got a core thing. Serve vendor asset, serve module asset, and then we've got this serve controller here. Okay. So perhaps we could go here. I'm going to just echo rock and then do a die statement. All right, so we've got something here. And I'm going to just say if. Now, the chat thing had said if defined interceptor, so we'll stick with that. If defined interceptors, and then I'm just going to var dump interceptors. Why is that? And we'll do a die statement. So, okay, so that gives us that. So let's just say for each interceptors as, now let's try that. Okay, so now let's just say interceptor key, interceptor value. Now if we echo interceptor key and then echo, whoops, interceptor value, a little HR here. All right. So if we then say, let's say this module. So the module is going to be interceptor key. And then we're going to say this interceptor key loading up interceptor value. Undefined method. Oh, geez. Well, well, well. Right, so at this point, it does not know what it doesn't know how to load up modules. And I think that's because the module loading stuff happens at this Trongate thing here. So it might be the case that we need to get a different way of loading this thing. So what do we do? Well, I could actually copy this. Go like this. Something like that. Now, where it says target module, we're going to say interceptor key. And I'm just going to echo OK with a die statement. All right, so far so good. Nice. So then okay, let's go back here. So it would be something like that. Now that's the normal PHP code here. So if we say let's just echo the controller class. Okay, test. So we could say, now actually I don't even think I need that. Maybe I do. Alright, so this is a new instance of that. And here it would be interceptor value. Yeah, that works. Who would have guessed? And this would be interceptor key. And that's it. Done. That's it. So what we've done then, if I take this out of here, like that, you can see we've got this ordinary page. Everything works just fine. This is going to be great when it's out. I cannot wait to see this, you know. The properties builder is going to come up. I'll be working on this later tonight. So that's that. If we want our interceptors to work, well, all you would do is go to config, you would define them, and then it runs them. It's as simple as that. And you can have, let me just try something else. I wonder if this will run into challenges here. So config, oh yeah, we have a comma we need to add here. Cannot call undefined method. All right. Oh, well, here it's here. Right, that's it. I must admit, I don't understand why. Oh, there's why. It's. I've got you. So the reason why it's doing that is because these have got the same keys. So you would have to have a second module, maybe something like this API thing here or something. Or let's just try one in Trongate users. So you need something like that. And if we take that out here, chuck this here. There you go. So that works. And there you have it. That's it. That's our feature. Done. Pretty cool, right? Now here's what's really mad about this. I did a check before coming on, and I asked, do the other frameworks have this feature, you know? And this, I called it an Endpoint Watcher at that point, but here's what the thing said. They don't. So, not bad, right? We now have something that they don't. 3 cheers for us, and thank you for being here. Right, and here comes John. John says, hello David, can the code generator modify a module? It can in some ways, aye. For example, adding an image uploader or building a module relation. There's even a delete module feature in there. Anyway, I think that's going to do for this live stream. I just wanted to, I was going to run a poll or something for that, but it's such a simple thing. I think we'll just have it. It's worth the 1,000th of a second extra load time. Thank you very much indeed for being here. I'm going to go and do some other things. I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.